How's it going? How are you going?
We're going.
We're going live.
Yeah, hey
it's Evan.
everybody. Hey, it's me. It's Evan, your friend. We're going. So this week, sorry, I have to pause YouTube because I like to be in the chat here with you guys. And then it starts playing and I'm hearing myself. Sorry, this week on the Pocket Dimension Live, we're going to chat about building bad characters.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to ride the train all the way to Dumpstat City. Take it away, AK!
I like that. Decisive also likes that. Who's in the chat? We're on both YouTube and Twitch today. So we should say that up front. If you hear us greeting or talking about somebody else's comment and you don't see it, they're just on the other platform. Yeah. They're not waiting for you.
They're waiting for you there.
Jump in the dark. So we already have Decisive. I've seen Cozy Cassie, Tabletop Phoenix. I've seen Amy talking about her bagel. It's breakfast time. It's lunchtime. It's cappuccino time.
Bagel's a multi-meal. You know, it's a cross-meal food stuff.
Yeah, bagel is good for all meals.
It really is. It really is.
Maybe it's a pizza bagel. I would eat one of those.
Pizza's on a bagel. You can eat pizza anytime. 2
bits.
I once almost broke up with a guy because it was the first time I was going to cook dinner for him. And he was like, just my only request is like, I freaking hate breakfast for dinner. Don't do that. And I was like, this isn't going to work.
Okay, where's the red flag guy? Where's the Instagram guy with the giant red flag that runs around his backyard? We need him for that guy. There.
And then I found out he also wasn't a Disney guy, and I was like, this is dumb. And you're very nice.
Double burn. Yeah.
But yeah, if you're not breakfast for dinner types, or breakfast for literally any meal, you know.
Or if you love vomiting.
There's that.
That's AK's not into it.
AK is not into it.
If you like vomiting, or you just like making vomiting sounds, it's a deal breaker, right, AK?
For those of you who we don't see in the chat at the moment, may be lurking a bit, we are the Pocket Dimension for friends that get together and do this live stream every Friday at 11:30 CT, 12:30 ET, and my name is Matt.
And my name is Allison.
My name's Evan.
And I'm Fitz.
Yes! Wow, we did it! Wow.
First time, all the way through, without confusion.
Yeah, we talk about TTRPGs, and we got a good one today.
And Disney.
And Disney.
Jack says, I'm glad you got that bad juju out of your life. I think you're talking about the Disney part and not the breakfast for dinner. Or who knows?
Yeah,
I think she meant the dude.
Wait, think about it. If he doesn't like Disney and he doesn't like breakfast for dinner, then you would never have Mickey Mouse pancakes for dinner.
Right? Well, and what a weird thing to like take a stand on. Like, I'm all about like feel how you want to feel, but like to like hate on some French toast at 6 p.m.
That's a weird hill.
Just find a better thing to dislike.
Find joy.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Because you
Get
have
a
none.
life. And you never will.
You never will.
yes. Both in game and in life, we are very much yes and people, and we date the same. We prefer to date the same. So
the same person. We all date the same person.
We all date the same person, also, which is complicated because we don't live in the same cities. Yeah,
it takes a lot of patience.
We've got we've racked up a lot of air miles. You know.
We just outed ourselves as a polypod.
Yeah, we did. Wow. You mean a Polly Pocket pod?
Oh.
Wow.
Okay, what if there was a monster that was called a polypod, and it was for humans?
It forced you into a relationship with other people.
One of its legendary actions would be some sort of like love charm thing that you have to do a wisdom or charisma saving throw to avoid.
Ooh, this is getting a little...
Where's Mortal?
Spicy.
I don't
want
Mortal. Build it.
I can't, like, my brain can't even wrap around the type of person that would make all of us happy. So that's how you know that we're joking right now, because that's
true.
Yes.
We have very varied tastes.
No shade
Okay.
to polypods, okay?
No,
No shade to
no.
polypods, but it's not what we're doing here.
I like the disclaimer that had to be.
Well, you never
Elise
know.
and
No,
Lindsay are going to get some weird texts today.
Oh, no.
Especially if
Yeah.
Elise and
Hey.
Lindsay aren't watching
my
this.
God.
They're going to be like, why did you tell people I was also dating your
Why?
friends?
Yeah. Oh boy.
Mortal, you
We're
showed
in
up just in
trouble.
time. I was
Yeah.
just talking about you.
Wonderful.
I have a
Welcome.
monster I need you to build.
Yeah, we got you a monster, bud. Oh man.
Well, now
Oh,
that we've
man.
made it weird,
Yeah.
yeah,
keep doing that.
let's
Look,
do it.
our
Yeah.
motto is 10% weirder.
10%.
Yeah.
So
or
we-
today, 45%.
Yeah, I was going to say we're hitting like 40%, but 45 feels good. Yeah.
We've gone from adult diapers to polypods in the
Polypods.
span of like the 2 minutes we've been live.
Look, y'all, it's
Next
Friday.
up.
It's been a week.
Next
It
up,
has been a week.
polypods who wear adult diapers.
Mm-hmm.
Roll for initiative.
I mean,
I
that's
do-
what I was talking
So
about.
we are
But yeah.
going, you've heard of breath weapon, but have you ever heard of diaper weapon?
Okay.
Oh no.
All right, so we're going to be talking about bad characters.
Wow.
Too weird?
No,
Did I fall off the precipice of too much?
Smells
Okay, got
like
it.
Bigfoot's dick.
Oh no.
Don't worry, it's just oatmeal. It's just oatmeal.
Oh
We're-
no.
We're
no.
gonna have to
Okay.
start like a timer to see how quickly we can ruin my mascara show to show.
I mean, it's done.
Oh no.
And we're moving
Dan's
on.
already
We have
out.
now alienated
Dan is
so
out.
many people,
Out.
including ourselves. Including
Excarded
ourselves.
us. Excarded
Oh,
us.
no.
Yeah, I'll join you. I'll join you.
Oh. Yeah.
The thing is
Anyways.
that I know who's in chat right now, and I know for a fact this is not too weird for at least 98% of y'all.
Worst part of this, our phones are listening to this, so just expect in your Instagram feed or whatever to be getting adult
Amazon.
diapers ads, polypod ads.
Amy,
Just
I
brace-
taught you
brace
well.
yourself.
Guiding bolt diaper in my next
Nice.
game. Putting it in my
Wow.
pocket.
There it is.
Guiding
Guiding
bolt.
bolt.
Well,
diaper.
I'm going to use Amy's comment as a segue to
Yes.
maybe try to put the train on
Yeah.
the tracks.
Let's do it.
Come on,
Yeah.
let's
Please.
go.
Let's see if I can do it, all right?
Um,
So, Amy, you're
Sure.
talking about having the spark of an idea to create a character. Well, this week, we're going to be talking about building bad or non-optimized characters, or just in general, our preferences when building characters. In any TTRPG, but we're going to be using 5e for an example later. Stick around, it's going to be chaotic, as it always is.
Mhm.
I put a poll out to our community, as I do just about every week. And I asked when they're building a character in whatever system, we're going to be system agnostic here, whatever system you enjoy best, what is your inspiration? How do you generally go about building a character? And I was surprised by the results.
Mhm.
We had 20%, this was the coming in last place, was the min-maxers for unlimited power. These are the power gamers. These are the people that are in it to win it. Okay? Next, in second place, was actually what I thought was going to be the winner, but that is to follow general class recommendations and just discover the rest in play. These are the story-driven folks. They're at the 35%. 45%, though, said, I don't care. I don't know. Vibes, man. Just vibes.
Vibes.
Just vibing. So I was actually quite surprised at how many of us are just, clicking and seeing what sticks.
Wow.
Click it and stick it.
Click it
That
and
is
stick it
surprising.
as
That
you
is
risk it for the
surprising.
biscuit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Yeah.
surprising.
It is.
Especially because, I mean, in knowing what I know of our community, and obviously I don't know every person that filled out the survey, but we have a lot of newer players, which is great.
Mhm.
I tended to be much more like, I'm going to go with what the book tells me to do in the beginning,
Mhm.
and then unpeel that onion into the different layers of like, no, it's actually kind of fun to be chaotic.
Yeah.
Or accidentally chaotic in my choices, I think.
Okay.
So, oh no, Mike, come on. Diaper weapons and dump stats, it goes hand in hand. It had to be said.
Inspiration.
You're hired.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have to have an inspiration sound. Yes, Allison, I tend to agree with you on that, which would then kind of imply that the people watching and taking polls are now closer to pros, right?
Love that. Love that journey.
They
for
are
all of
pros.
us.
If that is indeed the case, it's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I was going to say that in my findings, including myself, so I'm thinking about Matt Mercer, for example, during the first Exandria, and then I've seen Brennan do other things. I know there's lots of other examples. As a dungeon master, game master, I love to nerf my character, like almost fully nerf them, purposefully when I play, like
when you play as a player.
When I
not
play
as
as a
a
player.
GM.
Thank you. Yes. When I roll up a character to play as a player, I love flipping the script, even when it does really just kind of make me make some very
Useless.
unfortunate useless. Yeah. But yeah, in that first Exandria,
With
where
Dariax. Yeah.
with Dariax, that was just he was so free to. I don't even remember the specifics. I should have looked them up, but he was a thief with terrible dexterity or
He's
something.
a cleric.
No,
He's a cleric with
It
terrible
was
wisdom?
Sorcerer, Divine
Yeah.
Soul Sorcerer.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Right. I knew he was a
Yeah.
caster,
I think he was a barbarian.
but it was yeah.
He was a blood hunter, right, man?
Yeah.
He definitely went dump stat on
Yeah.
his intelligence, which is what he needed for his. Well, no, intelligence wouldn't have been sorcerer. He still went low on intelligence, played a low intelligence character beautifully,
Yeah.
and then played charisma differently than just
Yes.
being
That's a really
the-
good example.
Smooth.
Charisma. Yeah.
the star of the room. Yeah.
Right.
And of course, some game systems can allow this more than others. So 5e is actually, it's pretty hard to really nerf your character because there are, I mean, don't you have to have minimums? In the olden days, you did. Maybe not anymore. I just
Oh.
D&D beyond it. But aren't there some things you absolutely have to hit in order to move?
No, you have
If
to
you
for
Multi-class.
Yeah,
And some
Oh.
feats, you have to
Yeah.
have certain thresholds,
Threshold.
which is
but you can
so like
disable
which
that
we
too.
had that conversation in our Barovia game
Yep.
when we just leveled up to 12 or something like that. And you and I had to have a conversation because the feat that I wanted to take for my character required I wanted to take the inspirational leader feat, but it requires I think like a 13 in charisma, and I was like, I am never ever putting another point into charisma. They started at 10, they will end at 10. They're
Who is?
staying perfectly mediocre, but I want them to be able to do this in their own special way. And so we
Yes.
figured out a way to make it work. But yeah,
Nice.
I think when you're building your base character, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's nice. I was thinking of other games like DC 20, which is one of the most open systems as far as that goes. You really can, as long as you got a prime number that rocks, you're pretty good to go. So you can really
Well,
have a lot of strange
And
choices.
you can disable it. Like in D&D
Yeah,
Beyond, if you
right.
want a multi-class, there's just a toggle that you can say
Oh.
ignore
ignore.
thresholds or
Well,
whatever it's called. So
Oh, all right.
There it is. Yeah, and Shadowdark too. But it's fun. Right?
I
It's
mean,
so much fun.
like, who is it? I saw it passing. Oh, Tabletop Phoenix said failure is a great story narrative.
yeah.
It is.
Yeah. That's why we live natural ones, too.
Yeah.
It's not always fun to play in my experience.
Right.
Not always fun to play. It's like when you're actively trying to go for the hero moment
Yeah.
and it falls super flat. It's
Yeah.
you're like, oh wait a minute. I wish I'd been better at this.
ADHD was.
Yes.
But that is absolutely true. TTP.
Yeah. I tend to hate it. And I mean, it doesn't change anything. I tend to hate a low roll, and especially a natural one in combat, because then you feel like you wasted a turn. Whereas, like, when we're
Yeah.
in the more, like, thematic storytelling, if I, even if you're a rogue trying to pick a lock, there could be a reason why it didn't work and your lock pick broke and now you have other consequences, or you weren't perceptive, you weren't persuasive. That I have no problem rolling low on. But combat combat hurts, but it's part of the story, right? You can't land every crushing blow.
Right.
I'm dying to know what the MCDM game is going to, because that is one of their major principles that I've heard of, is that there are no misses really. Every turn is so that
Really?
that's what I've heard. Like it is
In combat, you can never miss.
yeah, it's a bummer when you miss, I think, and so they figured out a way to
But
kind
it
of
also, if you can't miss, then it's not exciting for you to hit.
Yeah.
I'm speaking out of
Fair.
total ignorance at this point.
Okay.
But I think there is. I remember reading specifically like what a bummer it is to be this great character and you know not do anything on your turn.
That is feeling familiar because I remember when we were just sort of
See how you're
looking
hit.
at
Okay.
Nimble, that kind of had a similar thing too.
Yes.
But I think with Nimble you can still miss, right?
Yeah, and they're saying with
Yes.
Decisive and Galaxy are both saying you roll damage. So in MCDM, you just roll to see how hard you hit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's kind of fun. So maybe there's even more room in those games coming up that yeah, it creates a new kind of problem.
I will say,
yeah.
as a DM, and maybe this is my chaotic side showing, I love when somebody rolls a natural 1 in combat to come up with the consequence of that. So like,
Yeah.
So good.
you whiffed it so bad, like you fell down, went boom, took a point of bludgeoning damage, or like your arrow goes wide and, you know, taps a
Kills your
keg
friend.
and now there's beer all over the floor or whatever.
Yep.
Or kills your friend, sure. Those are very similar.
Yeah.
Well,
You
isn't that how we
puncture
lost
your
old
friend's
Toby?
adult diaper
Oh
and
God!
unleashes their excrement
Everyone
all
roll
over
for
the big
Relicon
boss.
save.
Just can't get away from this today.
No.
Oh god.
We're not going
But
to.
that's how we lost Toby, though, right? Because you rolled a natural 1 and then fell on your ass and like couldn't get back up.
We lost
right.
Toby because none of us knew how to parry.
I mean, look, it was a
Fair.
Yes.
series of unfortunate events that began with a natural 1 and
Yes.
ended
Yeah.
with a lack of parry.
Yeah. He dropped, I think he dropped his crossbow bolts, or even like one of the bad guys like kicked his arrows away from him. It was like a total
Yeah.
dick move.
Right.
I don't remember.
That's right.
But yes.
That's right.
Yeah. And I didn't parry. So.
Yeah, what had been flavor turned into death.
And I pooped my pants.
Well, you died, so
I
That
did.
does happen.
it happens.
Probably literally happened. Well, I'm getting excited to revisit old Robotobe or whatever
Yes.
is
Tobocop.
happening. I'm
Roby.
getting
Tobocop.
I'm itching for
Alright.
that adventure soon.
Yeah. Well, you know, Alpha 0.6 is coming. It is nigh.
Hey,
Verdant
Oh.
Loki, we are coming for you.
DC 20
DC
0.6
30. DC 30.
Like someone-
exactly. That's the
how's
new alpha name. No, I'm kidding.
DC 69.
So, so when you guys are
Nice.
rolling up, so I'm just curious, when you're
Yeah.
rolling up characters, what I guess I just want to hear a little bit about the process, because
Mhm.
I feel like AK and Fitz, you guys in particular, have I'm writing this story, but that you guys have a process that's very thoughtful,
Mhm.
very,
Sure about
you
that?
know, and I don't know, you always seem to come very prepared.
Yeah.
And my process feels very loosey goosey, and I will oftentimes end up with I'm gonna talk about the spectrum of bad characters that isn't as much fun to play. So I will end up with things that frustrate me. Maybe not immediately, but down the line, it's like, wow, I'm level 12 and my modifier's only this. Why?
Mhm.
Right.
Mm.
So, anyways, talk a little bit, both or either of you, about like when you're rolling up a character, where you start with that.
I tend to, I tend to know out of the gate like what I'm playing, and will then look at what should be the case. So we all know I usually play casters. We all know I usually go high charisma. That I think stemmed from the fact that my first ever character and the class I've played most often is Sorcerer, which needs a high charisma modifier for their DC. So there is some level of like out of game meta knowledge of that I want to be a good whatever I am.
Yeah.
Right.
But then also tweaking the elements around that. So maybe that is my leading stat, but then so another sorcerer example I can give you guys is my half sea elf sorcerer Cora. I rolled for stats and unfortunately rolled incredibly high for her, but we purposefully made like Dex her lowest stat because we wanted to tell the story of she's a sea elf, she's incredibly comfortable underwater, but of course on land she's a little more unstable. So figuring out like what parts I'm playing a monk now, and shout out to Tabletop Phoenix's new campaign, and made charisma my dump stat. Woo woo!
Whoa.
And didn't make other, like, I kind of leaned more into like wisdom constitution than like dex intelligence. I didn't make those my dump stats by any mean. Like I still want to be a good monk when it comes time. Right now we're at level 1, so we're not good at anything yet. But like I did kind of try and think about like her upbringing. Like Tabletop Phoenix and I had a session 0, and that was my first experience with a session 0. And got to kind of talk about her past, the city she's from. I got to kind of have my first encounter just one-on-one with the DM, which was so cool, and like learned those things that influenced her. So it's not necessarily for me about like, I'm going to make the thing that makes the least sense the dump stat, but rather I'll pick the thing I want to be really, really good at and then use the story to fuel the lesser.
That's fun.
That's my process.
Okay.
So you start with picking a class first.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. I usually pick an idea first, and I try to keep my mind open for what class they'll be. I think sometimes I get a little excited, and I specifically want to try something. Like the first time I played Blood Hunter, I really just wanted to try Blood Hunter, so I figured something out there. But 9 times out of 10, I pick an idea of something I want to explore first, and then I just sort of spiral out from there. So, like for I'll use our Tatarian characters as an example. I really wanted to explore the idea of dissociative identity disorder, and so I wanted to make sure I was doing it right first of all, because that could very easily turn into a caricature of an actual disorder that people deal with. But so I spent a lot of time thinking about how to do that in a respectful way, and then also still make it fun and interesting. So, Matt, that was maybe the one character that I had to talk through a lot more in the beginnings.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the best example, but like, I picked that, and then I thought about, well, who are the two sides of the same coin that I'm going to be playing, and how do I make them functionally almost like sisters in a way, of like they reflect each other. They have a similar basis, a similar starting point, but they're very different depending on who's in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
So I toyed around with a lot of different classes. I toyed around with how the ability stats were going to play out. So technically they are a rogue arcane trickster. But what we've done is, because I didn't want to play 2 different character sheets, that was the deal breaker, was I didn't want to have Harlow be a fighter, and I didn't want to have Charlie be a rogue. I wanted them to be the same class. So they're a rogue arcane trickster, but when Harlow's in the driver's seat, she has a feat that gives her battlemaster techniques, and she does not have access to magic. And when Charlie is in the driver's seat, she has access to the arcane trickster boons, but not the battlemaster feat type stuff.
Okay, so you just have to self-police that.
So I self-police that.
Honor system.
Yep. And then honor system, but and then we have a mechanic for how they switch back and forth. If I roll a natural 1, I roll a wisdom save. Or I have to roll a wisdom save depending on the situation. There's a whole mechanic to keep me honest of like who's in the driver's seat.
And I took inspiration from Dale Critchley and his incredible work with making mechanics for all manner of people with disabilities. And I also took inspiration from our pal Alan, the dungeon coach, because he had, not that he had done anything like that, but just in the concept of being able to reach for feats outside your class a little bit. Really cool and helpful. Yeah.
This is
I love that.
like I don't think I had ever even considered not picking a class first. Like this is breaking my brain in a good way. Even like what Tabletop Phoenix just said, to kind of back up what Fitz was saying about the process is different. It's based on idea, a class. I know for a fact that the way that my brain works is fairly linear. Like you can't have, step 2 before step 1. And that's not necessarily how life works. Like in my brain, I'm like, you have to have the class first. No, you don't. No, you don't. So now I want to try building a character that I don't pick the class first.
Well, okay, so we just had a really, really fun one shot with hi. We had a really fun one shot with our friend Seth, the GM, and you picked a Disney character first. And then you had to figure out. So what was that process? You didn't pick
That's fair.
her class, right?
That's fair. Yeah. I did Mary Poppins and played her as an Aasimar because I realized she was more celestial than human. Sorcerer, Storm Sorcerer specifically. So that way that kind of, and so yeah, you're right. I picked Mary and then said what would, and that was a fun process. And I guess that's fine if you're, okay, that's fair. But that was because I was basing a character around something that was already built, which still like fits the linear mold in my brain. But I'm saying like, I want to now start out like wide open field just to see how it feels for me to be like, okay, I want to play somebody that is extremely this and then like pick the other. I mean, we kind of almost did it in a way with Chimerical. So my now full bard in our Barovia game started out as a rogue, and then I should have built her as a bard from the beginning. Her background was entertainer. She acted like a bard. I made her arcane trickster the second we were able to get to level 3, and I got to pick the subclass for rogue, and then it just became more and more apparent. And that proves the point I think you're both making, is that like had I been more like, what do I want to build, rather than I want to play a rogue, and then tried to like jam this character idea I had into this class instead of the other way around.
Well,
we're
like
learning, we're growing here.
For me, it's always just picking just a point of interest and building out from there. Like when I built Dahlia, I knew I was for some reason really obsessed with the idea of making like a Cirque du Soleil character who's also obsessed with the Raven Queen, like just a total bitch who is beautiful in the sky and maybe not face to face. And so for a minute she was a rogue, like trying to think of what is gonna work best with that idea. And monk, based on the description, wasn't necessarily quite right, but just as far as like how they use my explanation to get her into the monk class was just how they use their body. So it it's how you use that body, girl. So it's all just about like that spark of a story that I have, and then finding out how the mechanics can play into that. Now I am very curious to hear about our dear Evan's character building ideas, because you always are like in a vacuum, and then you show up and you're like, here's what I got, bam.
I didn't know that you guys weren't in a vacuum. Are you not in a vacuum? Is everyone else having fun together? Oh, okay.
Sometimes, for like Charlo.
I just thought I just discovered that I was off on my own, lonely and sad, cobbling together some character. Everyone else is together having fun around the Christmas tree. There's a fire on.
Yeah, we usually
got hot cocoa.
We
and
get together
church
in
to
person.
say, "Where's Evan?"
Yeah, we do.
That's exactly right. We're always wondering why you didn't accept the calendar invite.
Yeah.
You just totally ghost us every
Because
time.
you emailed it to me. That's why.
It got buried in Slack and Discord and email. It's fine.
Gonna call me Bish?
I snail mailed you a Christmas card with an invite to our character building party. And you
Even worse.
Reply.
Even worse.
It feels bad.
Love that.
So what's the question? You want to know how I build my characters? Huh?
Yeah.
Are you the lol JK vibes, or do you have a spark of an idea, and how do you find that when you go into it?
It's somewhere in between. It kind of depends. I mean, for one shots, it's usually different. Like I don't I'd put next to zero, like no thought into that, because it's oftentimes you're only going to play that character once. It's just not worth it. But for campaigns, we've only got a couple going on, right? And we've got our Strahd campaign, we've got our Tataria campaign, and so for Strahd, I'm playing a monk, and for Tataria, he's a rogue. He's a tiefling rogue, and I don't know that for Strahd, I hadn't played a monk in 5e up to that point, and I like melee combat characters. So I'd been a barbarian in our previous campaign. I thought, oh, okay, this will sound cool. And I've been reading a lot of Drizzt books, so I thought maybe let's do a half drow. I would have done a full drow if it was an option, but it wasn't. So, but I guess in my own way, I did kind of nerf or didn't pick an optimized thing.
Yeah.
I went for a thematic thing, in that he's a monk, way of shadow monk, right? So he gets all the sneaky darkness and all of that good stuff. And he's a drow. So I was doubling up on stuff. So drow they get darkness spells and they get sneaky things, just kind of, as their loadout gear. So there was some redundancy there, but for me, it fit thematically, right? It was like, oh yeah, he's a way of shadow monk. He was trained that way because that's what he is. He's a drow. So that made sense. And I just kind of accepted that. The frustration that I have felt is either by kind of, I've been to sites like RGP bot, RPG bot. Wow,
Yeah.
dyslexia. Yes. What do you want? Get out! I'm on a show right now. Shut up.
Your G's and your P's, baby.
Yeah.
I've been, and they kind of show you how to optimize stuff or point buy and whatever. I'd only ever done point buy up until you guys kind of blew my mind, saying that you normally will do standard or roll for it. I always thought roll.
I don't do standard ever.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I usually do point buy or roll.
What I didn't really understand was that rolling, you have the opportunity to get some of your stats higher than you were able to get them with point buy. Right. I didn't know that. I just was like, point buy.
Or lower.
I'm not a patient person. Yeah. So I'm going to do this because I can understand this pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
I've only ever done Lavinia, my first ever. She was standard. Everybody else has been point buy or rolled. And I tend to do roll for campaigns and point buy for one.
Here's the thing: do you take the first roll, or are you do you keep rolling until you get the results that you want?
Oh no! I roll all of the sets. What is it? 4d6, and then you draw one. So I do my rolls, but I don't start assigning stats until I've done all my rolls. So I get all of my numbers.
But if you keep rolling crappy crap, everything sucks,
then it's everything sucks, man.
Everything sucks. Yeah, I don't roll.
You just take it.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of roll. You should be. You're breaking the rules if you're rolling until you get something you want.
Yeah, if you get some bad rolls, then you know what? You're just going to be putting in the work during the ASIs and trying to get some feats and whatever magic items you pick up, man. You're just doing the work.
Yeah. So with the ASI, that brings up a good point. So one of the things
what is ASI for those who do not?
Ability score improvements.
Thank you.
Yes. So it's for those people who are not as familiar, along at different levels, you get either the option to increase an ability score or to take a feat. A lot of people feel like, why do you have to pick? Shouldn't you maybe get both? Currently, that's not part of the game mechanic. Right. There came at one of my levels, I chose a feat that I thought was super cool. It is really cool. It's called Alert. Means my character can never be surprised, and I get a massive bonus to my initiative roll. It's plus 10 at this point.
Wow.
Problem is, what I sacrificed when if you do that, then you are sacrificing the ability score improvement, which makes his modifiers, even at level 12, a lot lower. Still lower than other people's in the party, right? It's I think AK's character is a bard, but has higher dex modifiers than my monk, which constantly makes me feel bad about myself and the choices that I made. So this was kind of like the unintentional kind of weirdness. So that's one character. For our other campaign, what was the process? I was obviously listening to a lot of Ghost. and Ghost is the best. Ghost rules. And so I'd never played a tiefling before. Knowing a little bit about the world, that the world of Crosspeaks and Seabright is a place where there are not that many ancestries outside of like the high ancestries, the dwarves, halflings, not a lot of elves, but humans, things like that. They're fairly common. Dragonborn, really exotic, tieflings and stuff like that. You just don't see a lot of them. So I wanted to kind of lean into that as a jumping off point of him being kind of freaky, but he also lives in Sea Blight, where there's a lot more seediness, a lot more freakiness going on. Again, kind of going back to the analogy of the books Wild Cards, where you have aces and jokers who all have different powers. So this was just part of this character Bale's background. Other than that, I don't think I'd played well, I guess I'd played Bud, who's a rogue, different kind of rogue. Hadn't played an assassin, and Matt and I have been cooking up the idea of the finger that this guy belonged to as an assassin. And so it just kind of fell into place of like, ooh, I want this guy to be kind of scary. But it wasn't until I was deep into the game that I tried to figure out what his personality was. So this is the question I'll throw back to you guys. Do you come to the game, stats and kind of dump stats aside, do you know who they are as a person before you do? You do. Because I sure as hell never do.
Well,
I don't think I do.
I'll answer this within the question I was going to ask next, because it all ties together, is when you're building a character, yes, the stats are important, but then there's so many other choices that you can also make. And like, how does that complete the character? So the example that I'll give you is for first of all, for everybody who doesn't know, apparently I made a bunch of my characters' names rhyme accidentally. So I have my kind of second.
And we never let you live it down.
No, you will not. So I built a druid because and again, I was leading by. I knew I wanted to play a druid, so I built Sora. And like when I joined that campaign, they were already at a pretty high level. So I basically got a bunch of ability score improvements and like maxed out my wisdom, because that's what you do when you're a druid, right? But I purposefully, knowing like she was a sweet little water genasi from the Menagerie Coast playing in Exandria. And I specifically did not want the type of druid, like I nerfed her in terms of she wasn't really like a plant person and she wasn't really an animal person. Which, when you think of druids, you think of them talking to animals, you think of them wild shaping, all of these different. I never did. I even had a familiar that I constantly forgot to interact with.
Yeah.
Sorry, Zephyr. But like what I built her around, the idea, the concept was basically she was a weather girl. She was really into the elemental planes. She spoke primordial and stuff like that. So I felt like that's how I built an interesting druid that wasn't your like run of the mill traveling through plants. And, I was not the one who, when it was time, there was another druid in the party who was constantly casting the fart spell where we all get to move on as wisps of wind. I never cast that. That wasn't my thing. But every level up, I would choose things that allowed me to control different elements. So I was constantly controlling water, controlling wind, like bringing on tsunamis and stuff like that, as a way, so I had thought about all of those things separately from my stats to kind of bring it back to this. So I was going to say, what things other than stats do you guys use to build your characters?
I like what Jax is saying in here, that she likes to make her characters inspired by people that she knows, and that's I think that is just a game master trick no matter what.
Your
and
mom.
So I like your mom.
Like your mom.
Yeah. I think that's a game master trick anyway, but I do find
what's the game master trick to base NPCs off of people, real life people?
Every NPC y'all have ever really met is based on that means something, is based on someone that I know of or have read about, or
they're all based on
Idris Elba. Or
every single
Idris
one.
Elba.
My
We've
favorite
met
is when
Idris Elba so many times. What a great
well, I love it when characters, when I DM and my players can guess. Like I was running a short campaign and I had based like the busybody about town on Taylor Dosey from Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
And everybody in the party got it. They were like, "This is Taylor Dosey, isn't it?" I was
Right.
like, yeah. And that felt good, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
or like I was watching a lot of Letterkenny, and so one character, you know, basically spoke in the you know, there are people in the chat that can tell me whether people actually speak like that in Canada. I
Pitter-patter.
don't know, but he just spouted all the Letterkennyisms that I was using, and that really defines his character. So yeah, all kinds of things. Yeah. Bill Murray. Everyone is just
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I would love to do more of that plug here in our like one shots, like come up with the theme, like we did the Krampus December one shot, and one of them everybody just kind of like built the characters that they wanted to build, which is great, no shade there. But the other, like the group that I was in, we all based around a holiday movie, so we had like Buddy the Elf and Kevin McAllister and Ralphie and. You know, and it was kind of like the Disney one shot where like you pick who you want to play and then figure out like how they fit to the world of D&D. I thought that was incredibly satisfying and fun. So
it really was. Yeah, it really was. Yeah. Well, speaking of satisfying and fun,
What?
should we play a game?
Roll that intro, AK, take it away.
City. The
I
entire
know.
city.
Bye.
The whole
Bye,
thing.
city.
Yes. So to speak about all the things that we've just been speaking about, the brilliant Fitz came up with this incredible game that we're calling Dumb
Came up with this game.
Whoever came up with it,
Yeah, it was not. I may
It's
have
been a long
sparked the
week.
discussion, but this game that we are playing was not my idea.
Whoever,
wasn't?
apologies.
I thought
Whoever came up
It was
with
a
it.
collective effort.
it was a collective effort to
I love
get it to the finish line.
Anyway, so the idea is, go.
Yeah. So, okay. So here's what we're going to do, y'all. We're going to purposely make really awful characters.
Yeah.
And for, you know what? For all you know, maybe these guys are going to end up in something we play later. I made Herb to be the literal worst character. I chose all the worst feats, all the worst subclasses, whatever. And Herb is the character that just won't go, just won't die. So we're going to be making...
Oh, please don't die.
Won't die. Never dies. We're going to be making purposefully bad characters. How we're going to do that is we are going to spin the wheel. Each of us are going to be assigned by the wheel a random race and a random class. Then we're going to roll initiative, break off into pairs of 2, and we have 3 minutes to build the least mechanically functional version of that character based on generally accepted rules for building that class. All right? So just for the min-maxers out there, this is your time to cringe.
Yes.
The only rules, there are only 2. We have 3 minutes to complete the task, and you must use the point buy method for ability scores, and you must use all of the points that you are allotted. All 27, you gotta use them. You can't just make all your scores an 8. You gotta use all your points. At the end, we are going to pit the 2 characters against each other, and we're going to poll the chat over on YouTube. So for anybody who's on Twitch, if you want to be part of the poll to choose our winner, hop on over to the YouTube version, and we're going to pick who the big loser is.
The biggest loser.
All right, are we ready to do some wheel spins to find
Yeah.
out? I'm just gonna go in order on the screen. So first, our first round is gonna be about our ancestries. So Matt,
Great.
this is for you.
Okay.
You will be playing a
Oh, wow, that was jump scare.
Wow.
All right.
Love that.
This
Love
one's
that.
for me. Whee! I will be playing a human. my least favorite race to
I am
play.
triggered by this noise.
Sorry. All right. Up next is Evan. You will be playing.
Sorry, everybody. Oh my god.
Nice.
And Fitz will be playing a.
Nice.
I've never played a half elf.
I love
Yeah,
it.
can we turn the sound effects down? It's quite loud.
I know. There are
actually
dogs.
don't see a
and-
way to do that.
Oh no. That's okay.
Sorry. Yeah,
That's
usually I
alright.
get like a little window to do that. Okay, so are we cool to?
Everybody's
Everybody.
So sorry, guys. Oh God.
freaking out.
Hold on. We're gonna not shoot confetti and clap on stop. Let's see if that's
Yeah.
any better.
Yeah.
Okay, Maddie, you ready to find out what you've got?
Yes, I'm so ready.
Oh, it's probably still gonna pop. I'm sorry. Oh no, it's not.
Okay.
Bad. Artificer. Oh.
Yay!
Yeah, there you go.
A Goliath artificer.
Goliath.
That's
This
fun.
is gonna be
Holy.
fantastic. I love
Wow.
it. All right, I
You
will
got
be
an
playing
advantage, man.
a
Wizard.
wizard, a human wizard. I'm just gonna
Wow,
build
so
Caleb.
basic.
Yeah, basic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
base.
base.
Evan, you
Classic.
will be playing a rogue.
Okay.
Road.
Okay. Advantage.
And Fitz, you will be building a paladin.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh no. Okay.
Ooh,
So everybody
ooh.
has
So close to ranger.
what you have.
Yes.
Mhm.
That was a good sentence that I just did. wasn't
Everybody
it?
has
Uh-huh.
what we have.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
All right. So
know,
now
Jax. I wanted Evan to get a druid too.
I know I was rooting for Evan for a druid.
No
Right,
druids
roll for
here.
initiative.
Oh yeah,
All
rolling
right.
for initiative.
Everybody
right?
roll initiative. All right.
Right.
So sorry
Oh.
for the
Do
sensory.
we get
sensory.
any modifier to this initiative roll?
No, because you haven't built your character yet, so just a straight roll.
No.
Straight
okay.
roll.
Big 6 over here.
Ooh.
Big 2.
Oh,
11.
13.
Okay.
Go.
So that means
All right.
Matt and I will be building first,
Okay.
and Evan and Fitz, y'all get to talk to each other and
Okay.
the studio audience. Oh, so who can set a timer? Because we get 30 or 3 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, I can put 3 minutes on the clock here.
3 minutes on the clock.
Timer. We want tree.
3 minutes. Yeah, tell us.
All right.
Tell us when to go.
Get your mice ready. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Amazing.
right.
Okay.
Gosh.
So Evan, I actually
Yeah.
we started the game
Oh.
before
Time out. Can you pause the timer?
time
I just realized.
paused.
Let's build these at level 3 so that way we can choose subclass.
Whoa.
Okay.
That sound good?
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. We just went on expert mode. Okay,
Yeah.
and 3,
Yeah.
2, 1, go.
Go.
Bing. Okay.
So Evan, we didn't actually answer the question though. You asked personality-wise, like how much is built going in.
Yeah.
Um
So like Herb, for example.
oh. I didn't really have a personality for Herb when I went in. Straight up. I just was like, oh, they're a chef, and they get mad when their friend gets hurt. That's it. The rest
Okay.
just sort of.
Where'd the voice come from?
I was like, turtles, they have weird noses. So they probably sound like this when they talk.
A little bit
That's it.
nasally.
Yeah.
Just kind of because they just have those holes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. So, like,
Okay.
well, what about Bud? I mean, because the interesting thing is that Bud and Herb were one-shot characters. So, like,
That's right.
how much did you have?
I had one thing. I think I picked a deep gnome because I've been reading the Drizzt books, and there's one of the books features deep gnomes quite a lot, and I chose rogue, and it's specifically what's that subclass, like an investigation rogue, investigative.
Yeah, Inquisitive?
I don't. Inquisitive, thank you.
We're halfway through time, folks.
Oh,
boy.
halfway. Come
Halfway.
on, y'all. Wow, is 3 minutes going to be enough?
Nope.
Oh no.
Not for level 3.
no.
So you went Inquisitive Rogue.
I did, and the only thing just because it was pretty random, I was like, let's do rogue, let's do Inquisitive because I don't know what that's about, or I felt actually, I figured he's not an assassin rogue as a deep gnome. He's probably, he has a different set of skills. And then I had a voice was based on my friend Vance.
I do remember you saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of evolved from there. It doesn't really sound much like Vance anymore, but that was kind of that.
Yeah.
But I had no idea. Like, I knew that he was going to be loud and obnoxious.
Right.
Didn't really. I don't think it through that much.
Well, Bud and Herb have also had to change, vocals wise, since
That's
just
right.
going from one-shot characters. 30 seconds on the clock.
Oh no!
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
Do we get a time extension if they're not done, or do they get penalized?
No,
Oh, God.
they get what they get, man. I'm
Don't
very
get
worried.
upset.
I don't know how I'm gonna do a level 3 paladin.
Are
I've
we-
only
we're
played
not
one paladin and it was done poorly.
Are we doing? We're not worrying about like
10
supplies, gear, nothing. We don't have to worry about.
I don't think so. 5, 4,
Okay.
3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
Mice down, folks. Mice down.
Wait. What? Just okay. I okay.
All right.
I'm off to a great start because I don't know how wizard spells work.
Oh, okay. Mortal has a good point here.
Yeah.
Mortal
Extra
has a
time
good
because we
point.
went up to level 3. How close? Percentage wise, how close are you to being
I'm
done?
great. Yeah, I'm great. It's gonna be fine.
Matt, how far did you
Okay.
get?
What? To finishing?
Yeah.
Well, I ended up doing a lot of just like random quick stuff, so I don't even know. I didn't even read it. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
done. Let's go.
You guys
Okay.
are both gonna have done better than me. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I guarantee
Yeah.
it.
I didn't choose a lot of stuff. But
Okay.
Yeah. It's
So
good enough.
I think we're gonna now switch. So now Matt and I are gonna talk while Evan and Fitz build.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
That because before we reveal anything, right? And then we'll
Yeah.
go into revealing.
Sure.
Matt,
Uh-huh,
do you have a way to have a stopwatch?
You need a time
I
timer.
do. I do. I could go get the time timer, but
We just need 3 minutes.
I've got it.
My phone is what
Yep.
I'm staring at to talk to you, lovely people, which is my.
All right, let's see. I was a half elf
okay.
paladin.
Timers 3 minutes.
Okay.
No,
Well, let's let them get underway and then I'll tell you things.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. 1 second. And are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And go.
Okay.
I don't remember anything that they were talking about, Matt. Did you hear any conversation?
What they were just the two
Yeah.
of them?
I
No,
was
not one
so
word.
focused on
No.
building that like I so
I have
now
no
I don't
idea
know
what they were talking about.
to follow. So we'll go back to the chat for a minute
Yeah.
and see what you guys had to say. I mean, a really bad wizard wouldn't have any spells, so it's fine. Perfect. Yes, exactly. I like that. Yep.
I was gonna. There was an earlier comment from our friend Mortal Bane Kanan, where he was talking about creating NPCs. What did he? I don't. Now I've lost the entire thing. But it was something about. Now I gotta find it. You pick archetype and then build from there. Anyway, for NPCs, I get a picture and then craft them around that. That's fun too. Yeah, the picture, which is interesting. It's like based on pictures. Thank you, Mark.
They were talking about butt plugs. Great, let's
that's
pick up
also-
with that conversation.
Oh, okay, great. Yes, and so if you had a picture of a butt plug, Mortal, is that what your character would be based on? No, there is. One of my.
Evan's hearing this.
He doesn't know that he's a mentor. But Mike Shea, this Sly Flourish, he has just come out with this system with a couple of other people, and I haven't really dived into it. So I was wondering, Forge of Foes is what it's called, and it really is kind of like starting with a generic. The idea is like, what monster can you picture in your mind? What monster do you want? Don't look at the stats. Don't care about that. Make it boom what you want.
Hey
So
Matt, let's
that's
get a
fine.
time check. How much more time do you have if it's half?
1 minute and 32 seconds
Oh,
left.
way to get right on the halfway-ish point. Well, and that's okay. So in a former life, prior to me making ADHD and D&D my entire personality, I think we can only have this segment while we dance. I was a deeply competitive person. And so I think that there's still this little like part of me that I'm trying to like shed where I do want to build the best. Even though I know like you're not winning D&D, right?
No.
You're not. I mean, you're trying to beat the foes, sure. But
Yes.
like, and I have to get that out of my head of like, no, if I'm gonna build this thing, so what I'm saying is I have a hard time with what you're suggesting about having a picture in my head, because the picture I have in my head is how can I be the best thing?
Yeah. That's
that I can
okay
be.
though. I think the fun thing about what we've talked about today is like everybody has their own thing. What makes you want to play this game? Do you want to be Yoda? Well, I mean, here's a great example. Evan's wife, Elise, wants to play a unicorn. Period. So we either find a game system where she can full on be a unicorn, or she's a unicorn in concept, and we just, I don't know. You got to do what you want to do. Like it's like anything. You got to have fun. Do it.
Time check.
Time check is 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mice down.
Oh, snap.
I didn't use equipment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Like
have a
y'all
unicorn
do.
in my game. I don't limit my players as Tabletop Phoenix. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
So I was the big initiative winner, I believe, with a 13.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're gonna move here. We're looking at the wrong thing. Nobody panic. I got this.
You're looking at me. Don't look at my stuff. Yeah.
Don't
Hey,
look at
hey,
my
hey. Don't look at
Okay,
my
everybody.
stuff.
I am so pleased to introduce you to Millie, the human wizard. I don't know why I named her Millie. I just did. It felt like a solidly human name is what we're going to lead with out of the gate. I decided to make her intelligence. Okay, so because of her human background and her wizardness, she got some bumps to her intelligence, which actually did make that her kind of one of her leading scores, except for con is her highest, giving her a +3 there. Because I just like pictured this very like, not stout human, but like somebody who could just take a beating is what I pictured for Millie. She can be rode hard and hung up wet and live to tell the tale. She's also pretty
I
strong.
want to beat her ass right now.
Wow.
Wow.
Let's go into the cage match.
That's natural.
That'll be next week. We're gonna have a cage match between the characters
Oh
that we
my
built
God.
today.
Oh, hell.
Just came up with that on the spot. Anyways, so you can see, her wisdom is her dumb. So what I pictured Millie to be is, people that are like book smart but dumb as bricks. That's
Yeah.
Millie. So she's like studied her way up, and she can like answer in these. Can we turn maybe the music off or down?
Oh,
By
yeah.
the way.
I'm too
Yeah,
busy
sure,
bugging.
I feel like I'm like competing with the music to like
You are.
be at a certain pace.
I'm definitely
Anyways.
distracted by it, just bopping.
I pictured Millie to be the type of smart where like she could like she's like the flashcard queen, right? Like she can study them and like memorize the answers, but that doesn't really mean that she understands the answers. And so, that kind of leads her to like why like her perception, for example, and her survival, and her stealth and her sleight. She's just not like she's just not using her noggin like in the moment if she doesn't already have it memorized.
Yes.
Is kind of how I pictured Millie. I picked for her I don't know anything about this because I know nothing about wizards. I picked Blade Song because again, she's kind of a strong wizard as her subclass. And who picks a wizard because they want to? And then I picked her. I gave her a club. Because that's what you think of when you think of wizards. It's just people like walking in, like hauling off and whomping you, as my mom would say. Felt weird, felt bad, so we're gonna go with that. And then for her spells, again, I tried to pick more like I'm gonna kick your ass type of stuff. And so we went with Earth Tremor and Grease to get people down on the floor, and then Misty Step because like she just wants to get away from this noise at the end of the day. She's just like, I don't really care. And then inventory, she has a lot of stuff. So her arcane focus is an orb. And she's also got a quarterstaff and a longbow because again, that's what wizards do, right? They're really into their melee fighting equipment.
Yeah.
And her armor class is 10.
There it is.
Nice.
Amazing.
Very good.
Okay, you
Very
guys.
All right.
Memorize all of that. We're
Yes,
going to be
memorize
voting on this
that.
later.
Yeah.
All right, Maddie.
This feels like
ready?
a PowerPoint presentation.
I know, right?
Yeah. I think I'm ready.
Bonesy.
We'll see.
Oh, you got a picture for yours. Damn.
I threw up a picture real quick. It's fine. So this is Bonesy, everybody.
Is that
Bonesy is a Goliath artificer, battlesmith. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and say a lot of the things that I chose were very last minute. I don't even remember choosing them, but I had fun with Bonesy, just jacking up his charisma, wisdom, and
Obviously.
intelligence. I don't actually. I now realize that he probably needs intelligence, but he has no. He is not very strong, dexterous, or constitutional. So what I was thinking is that Bonesy is just this extremely wise, extremely beautiful Goliath, like almost like a cult leader guru type. And in fact, I made him also a hermit. So he lives by some sort of intense monkish belief that he passes on to others, and in his spare time he likes to battle things, right?
Sure.
Like you do. So the battlesmith allows you he's a toolsmith. He spends a lot of time alone. He's got all manner of the local eligible bachelor and bachelorettes knocking at his door because he's so charismatic and wonderful to be around, and he has to kind of like shut them out because he's got work to do.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's Bonesy.
Okay.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Work Bonesy.
Miles
No
Beyond says,
initiative.
Bonesy, the
Armored
beautiful
class of 9.
brainiac. I like that a lot.
The beautiful, yeah.
The beautiful
Yeah.
brainiac.
Fun as
Love it.
hell. Yes.
Shit.
All right. Matt and I are getting, I won't say hate in the comp, but apparently we're not doing a good enough job of building bad enough characters.
Okay. I hope y'all
He's
do
hot
better.
and large.
Apparently, Millie
I'm
is
sorry.
meh, and
Yeah.
your Artificer is actually pretty good.
Oh,
Oh
damn.
no!
Okay.
Sorry,
Hey.
everybody.
Well, what do we got from Evan?
Yeah.
What do
Evan.
we
picked the
got
wrong
from
one.
me?
All right, so Evan, I'm
Okay,
bringing you.
got something.
Give me 1 sec. All right, Evan. Oh, come on.
This is Adult T Diapers.
Love
Where
it.
did Matt, where did you go? Why are you
Where'd
over
you
on the
go,
screen?
bro? He's hiding back in the woods. So Adult T Diapers is a half-orc rogue, and he grew up in a clan of barbarians. Oh, hi, brother.
Hey, buddy.
It's all about me.
It's the cult
Hi.
leader. It's the cult leader in him.
I don't know how. Hold on. Okay, keep going. I'll try.
It's okay.
and
It's
fix-
okay.
I'll try and fix this while we.
So yeah, I guess. Oh, I can use my pointer here. So he grew up in a clan of barbarians. So his strength is maxed out, his constitution's maxed out, and his charisma's maxed out. And then everything else, his dex, his intelligence. They don't believe in thievery and rogues. They don't believe in anything like that where he grew up. So he's been training basically to be a barbarian. But guess what? All of the barbarian slots are full. They don't need any more barbarians.
Aw, buddy.
So he had to just
Funny.
kind of figure out something for himself. So he just, in his free time, learned how to pick locks and things like that. He's not real good at it. I didn't actually get a lot of options for, I got the roguish archetype. I just did a thief because, he's boring. And, but everything else just kind of came baked in. I did pick out his stuff. He's got a super sick.
Wait, does he have a gun?
Wow.
Yeah, he's got a gun. He's got a pistol. He's got some daggers and just load up and a nice rapier. He found a fancy rapier off of a dead person.
Nice.
And yeah. And what else do you need to know? I mean, I don't know. A
Evan,
super
you're
beefy
getting-
rogue?
Yeah,
You're getting
you're
some
winning
love from
so
the
far.
crowd.
Yeah, this is pretty
they're
bad.
saying that yours is real bad. So
The
The
yep.
nerds are approving.
I don't think
Okay.
we're gonna need to do a poll, but let's see what fits.
Yeah, I don't think I can do better. I don't think I can do better.
As you're pulling that up, I want to say I love the concept of a character that wanted to be something or should have
misfit
been
elf.
something.
Yeah.
And then yes, the misfit elf. I love.
I want to be a
love
dentist.
that. I want to
Yep.
be a dentist.
He just wasn't allowed.
Wasn't
All right, Fitz,
allowed.
what you got?
Okay, hold on.
I actually took a similar inspiration, but I also sort of blacked out when I was making this character, so I don't really know what I have.
So we have. I like that we have Millie and Tilly continuing
Yeah,
with
I
the-
went
Wow.
Tilly Tittlemouse.
Oh. Hey.
and They are a paladin. I chose Oath of Devotion because I was Tabletop Phoenix is Oath of Love. I was like, what's a good? That was my inspiration point. So Devotion seemed like the closest one from there. So I chose that Oath of Devotion. And my thought was, as a half elf, I chose the hermit background because they live on a farm in Canada, fantasy Canada, and the neighboring country is going to be trying to put a pipeline through their backyard, but they are devoted to their land and are going to fight against the pipeline people. But unfortunately, I didn't have enough time for equipment. So they're going out there with vibes and their intimidation skill. I chose to dump strength, dex, and con, which doesn't really make sense for a farmer. But, maybe they just had a brother or a sister or a sibling that did all the farming while they read up on law to fight the pipeline. So I came up with story instead of...
We built the same character in a lot of ways.
We did. We chose intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
And I'm not saying that was correct choice, but I don't know how... Yeah, I love that. And both hermits. Weird.
Both hermits. Yeah, we just went for the brain stats and the hermit background. I feel like I should have dumped charisma more, but you know what? Here we are.
I've learned my lesson. If I had more than 3 minutes, I feel like I would have
Yeah.
saw the
Made it
error
really
of my ways.
shitty.
Yeah. What we have learned is we're not very good at being bad, apparently. We're getting some hate for not making the obvious each of our dumps, like the fact that I went intelligence, but that was not I felt like in some way, let me speak up for myself really quickly. I felt like that would be cheating. Like to just make intelligence a dump stat.
You calling me a cheater?
No. Because you made the story fit it, right? But the story that popped into my head as I was, was not that she's dumb. It's that she's a certain specific flavor of dumb.
Right.
You didn't get to see all of my other choices though, the languages or all the other little bits and bobs, which I absolutely just chose. Which one is the stupidest choice?
Yeah.
So
I was proud of my choices too.
I know. So I'm just saying, I appreciate your faith in humanity, AK, but you shouldn't.
I will say my only disappointment, the only place in which I felt actually let down by this character building situation was I really wanted, when picking my cantrips, I wanted True Strike because everybody knows that is the absolute worst cantrip. And I couldn't get it.
It is? What is True Strike? What does it do?
You have to use your entire turn to figure out what somebody, what their resistances are, which you then can't use until the next turn and beyond.
It just gives you advantage on your next turn.
Yeah.
You spend your turn to give yourself advantage.
So it's just okay.
That would have been good.
I will also say this. I wonder, I don't know anything. I picked wizard. I picked a subclass, and immediately Daniel's in here going, "That's the best subclass." Well, I don't know that because I've never played a wizard. I wish that we could have. Maybe if we were to do this again, we would each pick classes that we're familiar with, because I feel like I could build a bad bard or a bad rogue.
That's
or
a good
bad
point
sorcerer.
too.
But I don't think I can build. But you live and learn, and there are other weeks that we will play more games.
It's too late, AK. It's too late.
Listen to me. I am committed. Let me get back on all of us. Okay. Let me go politician on y'all for a second. I am committed.
Okay. Wait. Let me give you the right music for this.
I am committed to getting better at being bad. The competition gremlin in me is still strong, despite what Jax thinks. And now I just want a boogie with a martini in my hand. But yeah, I want to get better. That's what I learned. I was not good. I was not good at being bad. Do we want to do the poll? Because I think in the chat everybody.
I've already got the poll going. Don't you worry.
The poll is happening, and it is a landslide. It is the landslidiest of landslides.
I am committed for you guys to getting better at something. I will do it for you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I do know that you are quite competitive, which is, I always thought that I was competitive, and then I met you, and I'm like, I'm chill. So we can do better.
It's true.
I really want, and Facebook literally won't let me, but I want my Facebook name to be Allison No Chill Kendrick, because I own zero negative chill. So no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're very chill, Fitz.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Jack-
I think
Jax is proud of me, at least. That's all
Yeah.
I care about.
yeah. See, Jax is.
I am a
Your comment is true here. Evan truly knows how to cater to this demographic, and with that, I'm closing the poll. It is an absolute landslide with
Wow.
91% going to Evan, 9% going to me.
wow, beautiful.
I
Zero.
don't. I think the 9% I got was just Tabletop Phoenix, and it was probably because I made mine Canadian.
Nice.
That's my guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody proud of me.
I love that.
Well,
That'd be
I think-
fun.
Nervous
Thanks, you
is
guys.
gonna make it. We should add a note for what to talk about in therapy next week. I'll be right back.
There we go. That's it. Do
Yes.
it. Do it.
Uh-huh.
That's fun though.
Yeah.
I do want to play now. I do want to play Bonesy. I could nerf him even more, but
Should we roll that? Oh, hey, Kai.
Kai says the perfectionist tendency to get really good at being bad, and now we have our next ADHD 20 topic.
there we
There you
go.
go.
There we
There you
go.
go.
Actually, because who were the ones who were the biggest winners? / the ones who lost this ADHDs.
Oh,
Wow.
damn. So why are you throwing that shade on yourself? Gosh, feels too personal.
Because now we have a topic for a podcast. 'Cause that's all
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Well,
Good on
look,
ya.
guys,
Yeah.
I love being awful with you, and
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
wait for more terribleness in the future.
Yes. Amen
Yeah,
to that.
the outlook is grim, and that's just how we like it. Bye, you guys.
Yeah.
Jax
thanks for being here.
says it was all just podcast research. You're not supposed to say the quiet part out loud.
Oh, inside voice. Inside voice.
Whoops.
All right.
We do it all. We do it all.
Ah.
We do it all.
Well,
On
no
next
matter
week's
what,
ADHD 20.
yeah, I had fun with y'all. I had fun
Yes.
with y'all.
Yes.
Yes. This is always fun. Thank you guys for being here. This so fun and
Yeah.
good.
And you know what? Hop in our Discord. Let's get this conversation going because we just scratched the surface. I really am curious as to, how people go about building their characters, and it doesn't have to
Right.
just be in D&D. We got some Shadowdark folks. We got some DC 20 folks. We've got some system agnostic people who like to just hop around. So
Hop
I want to
around.
hear from you guys.
Yeah.
Hop up, hop down.
Yes.
Hop around.
Let's hear it.
All right, you guys.
And with
Thanks,
that-
you guys.
We'll see
Until
you
next week. I know.
Until
Can't
next
wait.
week.
Thanks for joining us.